Oh shoot, episode 2, Really Bad Podcast. It's your host Will,
And Manguin.
back again.
You didn't think we'd come back for a second time, but did we exceed your expectations yet again?
We must not be that bad.
I guess not. We made it for 2 episodes.
Maybe we are, who knows?
We haven't found out quite yet. We haven't had any government bodies tell us to stop and desist right. So
And we're going to keep going.
we won't stop until we're forced to, baby. I'm making it to the merch. I don't care. I want the hats, and I want the money. I want the people to be able to represent the things they love.
$45 hat.
I love the sound of that.
Everything's gotten too expensive.
I love inflation. That's my favorite.
I've looked up how to combat inflation, and what they say online is to limit the supply.
Yeah.
It can't be that simple, though.
Well, when you're dealing with microeconomics versus macroeconomics, it's a bit more complicated, but I guess the idea is, pretty much the same.
I've watched videos where there's the guy in charge of the treasury, he's asked a question about if the government runs out of money, what do they do? And he says, we just print it. We just print more.
That'll fix it. We run out of money, we make more.
But that's what people said when the stimulus stuff went out, is that this is going to hit inflation pretty hard because everybody's getting $1,200. And people got more than that in total.
Yeah.
Times 330 million people. Probably say 150. Cause
Probably.
Kids didn't get it.
No. I didn't get one.
You didn't get one?
Nope. I didn't get a single one.
That means your parents took you as a dependent.
Oh, thanks.
So they got an extra chunk.
That's, what, fine by me. I guess it, paid for Christmas or something. Maybe. I hope.
That feels like forever ago.
It really does. COVID-19, that was...
It's still going on.
Yeah, it's still kicking.
Hard to believe it, but...
It's definitely not like, whole country shut down and you're sitting in your house, like, growing out your beard and trying to learn a bunch of different skills to pass the time.
No, I think the U.S. is done with it. They're tired.
Yeah.
We're tired.
I feel like everybody's kind of like, we get it. Everybody who needs to have it has gotten it. And if you haven't been properly prepared for it, if you need to be, then that's kind of your fault at this point.
People did die, though, from it, which is kind of crazy.
They did. There was a lot of, mixed factors involved with some of them, where that was pre-existing health conditions, and then, just one more little blow to the shin to knock them over. Sorry to anyone who died. You know what? Bad choice of words. I'm sorry.
We joke about it, but this is serious.
It's very serious.
People having to say goodbye to their loved ones over FaceTime, that's tough.
That's the worst. Not being able to visit any of your loved ones in the nursing home. I know exactly how that is. I've had multiple family members that one of them practically raised me in the nursing home, so I know how bad that can be, especially if you're not able to see them.
I think everybody knows somebody that got hit by COVID a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's not a fun topic for many people.
But it did change the way stuff is proceeded now. Like, I read a thing about how companies and governments are going to have clauses and stuff in their terms of service, like in the event of a pandemic, we have insurance covered for this, and so it would pay out and they would get more money or whatever.
Yeah, it was really weird because right before COVID and everything hit, when we first heard about the Wuhan virus, I was a senior and still in high school, and we had an advanced biology class. And we kind of kept up with current events, and the current event was this little outbreak over in China. And then before that, we watched the pandemic movie, and then there's another one where it's like there's something spread in monkeys or something, and the army was like trying to fix it. I don't know. But pandemic was basically like a more extreme version of everything that happened, and it was... And we were all like sitting there like, oh my gosh, it's so weird. Like, yeah, everybody quarantining and wearing masks. And then,
It was fun for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was it. Because, oh boy, I'm out of school. But
I was in my last semester here.
that was going to be your last semester?
That was my last semester.
Wow.
I graduated after that.
That's crazy. And then
I remember I was walking to the dining hall, and Eternal Take dropped by Lil Uzi.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "This is amazing. Life couldn't get better." And then they said, "Go home for a week or so while we wait." And then it was 2 weeks. And then they said all classes are online for the rest of the semester. And we just didn't come back.
Oh boy.
I remember that summer was real bad, COVID-wise.
Yeah, I did not get the second half of my senior year. I did everything from an iPad in my house, and it was not fun because we were doing, in advanced biology actually, we had to do a report. Had a group chat, and we would like send each other numbers if we didn't feel like it. One of us would work on it one day, another one of us would work on it another day, and it was just miserable because you don't ever get to forget about it, and then you have to do a lengthy report every single day, and it was miserable.
I had a friend do a specialized study project using Twitter API, and he wanted to do research on people that were tweeting COVID and depression in the same tweet.
Oh no!
And it was.
That's not good.
It was a lot.
I bet it was. It affected a lot of people pretty bad. I know I wasn't quite a fan of being locked up in my house for weeks on end, but I did have one good thing come out of it. Miss Mangwin.
I've met Miss Mangwin. I like her with you.
I know. It's if anyone couldn't tell from the Beauty is Pain video, if you are familiar with my history and content, we definitely gel very well, and it works. It just works. She's the yin to my yang, and I probably need to reiterate that a little bit more, because in the last episode the extent of what I said was kind of not great, not a great reflection. And
she knows how you feel.
She knows how I feel, and now I'm just reiterating it. I love you very much, and I didn't mean that. Sorry. But yeah. Airlines.
Well, this goes back to our point in the beginning where we were talking about how stuff is getting so expensive. I am flying internationally, but it is not far away. And have you looked at airplane tickets recently?
I know that didn't they get super expensive and then kind of go back down?
Well, they went down during the pandemic because nobody was going anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
But a particular airline I'm trying to fly with is American Airlines, and they want to charge me $2,500 for 2 people.
Mm-hmm. That is a little bit much, I would say.
And have you looked at tickets for a Hawks game or anything like that?
I know of some people that were selling them a little while back.
A nosebleed ticket, highest in the rafter, $200.
Man, well, you better love flying. You could take a boat.
And American Airlines is the only place that goes down to where I'm going.
Oh, so you're locked.
There's no way around it.
You're locked into that one.
Either I can do a one-stop flight, or there's a bunch of other connect flights that go to whole durations 34 hours.
Oh.
And you make 2 stops. I think they call them layovers.
Yep.
And that's for a couple $100 less, $200 less.
Oh, so it's not even at that point.
Worth it.
Doesn't even matter. You just take that couple $100 and blow it on a rafter seat at the Hawks game, pretty much. Have you ever flown before?
I've flown before.
You have?
I flew to Texas one time, then San Antonio, and then I flew to Miami last summer.
Oh, so you have a little experience under your belt. That's good.
Yeah,
That always
flew
helps.
with Delta. They try and pack all these people in there.
Yeah, the only airline I've ever gone with is Delta, but I kind of liked it.
What hub is out of Atlanta? So that's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
And American Airlines is out of Miami, and then Southwest. I don't know where they're from.
I don't either. My airplane knowledge is very limited. I just know enough to get where I need to go. I've only really been to Los Angeles and back, and that was, well, we had to fly from my original place to Atlanta, then to Los Angeles. And the plane we were on from, original destination to Atlanta was it's really nice. It was a tiny plane, felt comfortable, wasn't crowded. And then we get on the big commercial airline, and it's a whole different ball game. And I'm sitting next to an old man I don't know who's dressed in like a suit on, and I could tell he didn't really like me because he kept looking at me, and he like had a certain air about him, like, who are you and why are you sitting next to me?
People are animals on planes.
But I'll tell you something. As the flight went on, I think I wore his walls down because I ended up falling asleep and resting my head on his arm, and he didn't move me. And I was also like, 12, 13 at the time?
You got to get through the outer layer.
And then I was in.
He's a sweetheart.
But then I felt bad because I woke up and I saw that I drooled on his arm, and then I was like, oh my God, this is not good.
Maybe he fell asleep.
He did. When I woke up, he was asleep, I think, and he didn't know. So
and he woke up, he just had a crust on his arm.
He had a spot on his suit, and it was bad. And I just pretended like it didn't happen, and he didn't confront me about it. So I was like, thank goodness. I got out of that one probably about as good as I could.
But people turn into animals on planes. I've seen so many videos of people just going crazy. I remember when I flew to Miami, I was sitting on an outside seat on the aisle, and there was a girl in the middle seat, and then another girl to her right, and I guess they were friends.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl in the middle had her bag in my seat, and I get to my seat, I'm like, hey, it's my seat, I gotta sit here, can you move yourself? And she goes, looks at me, grabs her bag and goes, and it picks up and moves. I was like,
hey, were you expecting?
It's a 2-hour flight. Not even.
Wow.
It was like an hour 30.
Was she just expecting, the flight to not have people sitting in the seats?
I don't know. People are entitled.
Wow. How pleasant. Miami, speaking of, is a very wild place, too. When I went there, it was...
a lot of colorful characters.
Oh, yes. Tons. I went to the big mall, whatever it was. I don't know what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time that I've ever seen somebody breastfeed in public, and just like with no protection,
no blanket over
nothing, just raw dogging, breastfeeding in public. It was at that mall, and I, being as young as I was like, what is that, and why is it out? Why
are you against nature?
I mean, every bit of nature. Like, I don't need to go up to the edge of a volcano, look in it, and scorch my eyes and be blind forever to appreciate it.
It sounds like that's what happened to you.
Yeah, I was changed after that moment. I realized that the world wasn't as perfect as I thought it was. So, and I quickly found out from my mother what that action was and how it worked. And I mean, breastfeeding is necessary. It's healthy for your baby, but a little bit of effort can go into like not exposing your business for everyone to see. I think that's reasonable to ask. Because I learned something I didn't need to learn so early, right then and there, because of that woman. And I'm sure she didn't realize it, that she changed my life so much. But yeah, Miami is very interesting, I think.
We want to go, but then the next week it's like half the price.
Mm.
And I asked the lady, I was like, why is this? I could just move my thing. There's no reason for it to just be double. And she's like, oh, well, prices and tickets they're dynamic. They might move around. They're based on demand. And I was like, and it's only that week. So I guess a lot of people aren't flying that week.
Wow. So if you just waited 1 week, you would not have to pay as much.
Well, I don't know, because last week they were $1,800 total. And so they went up $500.
That's ridiculous.
No, $700, because it was 18, yeah, which is $350 a ticket, which is insane.
I wouldn't be able to afford that. That would put me way under. I barely get by with just paying for like iCloud storage every month.
You pay for that, the $1 a month?
More than that. I have
You have that much?
Dude, I do everything on my phone with videos and stuff.
I can see that.
So I have like gigabytes of videos that I have to keep.
Do they have a yearly plan on
that? Probably. I just do the monthly because, I mean, that just suits me for what I got to do. But I think the yearly thing like bundles in a bunch of extra stuff that I would never need or use.
I'm surprised you don't do Google Drive or anything like that.
This podcast has made me start. So I just re-downloaded all that so that way I can easily switch things between computer and phone. Thank you, Really Bad Podcast. Making me more dynamic of a person. You know, we're getting some of the rough edges off.
That's the irony of the Really Bad Podcast.
It makes you better.
We're getting better.
Exactly. We make ourselves better, and in turn, we can impart some knowledge to make everyone else better in their own lives. Because I know that none of you are perfect, especially if you're listening to a podcast called The Really Bad Podcast.
We got good people out there.
There are good ones out there, for sure.
One of you followed my Twitch account, and now I'm up to 10 followers.
He's up to 10. He's so close. I got 10
soldiers with me.
You got a big movement starting. You first 10, you're the cornerstones. You'll be remembered for all history.
I like streaming. It's kind of fun.
Oh, I love it. I love streaming.
I don't have a face cam. I just do the audio.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's all you need because people, I know with my experiences with streamers that don't show their face, you make an image of them in your head, and when you make that in your head, it's always like the perfect image of whoever it is. That's why whenever they do face reveals, it's like, oh, you look like that.
People gasp.
And then, mixed reaction to it most of the time. But, no, there's definitely benefits to hiding your face.
I don't even understand, how people on their streams will have, those little, I guess I'll call them a widget.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do that.
Like if the chat's going by on it?
Yeah. Some type of plug-in or something, obviously, but...
Yeah, if you got OBS, which is what most everyone uses...
is that free?
Oh, yeah, it's completely free. No charging, no nothing. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I have Streamlabs OBS. But I also have the original one, so please don't flame me too hard. Streamlabs is looked down upon because everything is very pre-made and, geared towards people who don't know what they're doing as well to make it easy to throw widgets in and stuff. But they're also kind of a scummy company. They're not...
That's why.
Yeah, they're not very liked in general. So I know I'm sorry for anyone who thought highly of me. This is the Really Bad Podcast, and the really bad stuff has to come out sometime. So I'm trying to switch off of Streamlabs, but it is hard once you're situated. So soon though. If I have enough time in the summer
to get me on that OBS stuff, because I don't know anything.
Oh, I can set you up.
I just stream off my Xbox.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Dang.
It's built into the guide and all that.
That's how I started. I was streaming off my PlayStation at first, no audio, no nothing. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a headset. I just
pure gameplay.
That was it. I think my very first it was Battlefront
2042.
Oh no, not
Oh, the very first Battlefront, like the newer one?
Yeah. Hey!
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Nothing happened. Don't worry about it.
We'll have to dedicate an episode to the importance of Minecraft.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That has got to be within the first season of our show.
I thought about that the other day, how pretty much anybody in college now grew up on Minecraft. Like, for an extended period of time. Like, for me, it came out, like, right before I went into high school, like, 8th grade. And then I had it all throughout high school.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, like, the first thing they remember is, like, Minecraft with their friends.
Oh, yeah. No,
from a very young age.
One of the most fond memories I have from transferring schools and then, like, within the first couple of years at being at a new school, one of my friends that I had, he had Minecraft on his Xbox. So I went and stayed the night with him one time, and we got to play on his Xbox. And, you know, the only things I had seen about Minecraft or knew about it was from me, like, watching over people's shoulders in class playing it on their phone, and that was so much more watered down than console version. And I saw it on his Xbox, I'm like, what is that? Because it had villages, it had tons of items. It had hunger. I remember that was like revolutionary to me. There was experience. It was just mind blowing because on the phone, that was back when it still had like the world that it generated was a little square and it had borders. Like you could only go so far. So that blew my mind, and I still remember how excited I was being able to play that. And then it took a little while for my parents to let me have it because I think it was because of like the Nether Realm they heard about, and they're like, I don't know. And, you know, after a while, they're like, yeah, I guess you can have it. And I never went back.
It's just a game, but we got to save that for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get going too quickly.
Yeah. No, we got to tap the brakes just a touch. There is something big.
There's some great news out there today. Some great news.
There is a really big happening across the pond.
Have you ever seen the Netflix series The Crown?
No, I haven't.
I love it.
Is it interesting?
It came out in like 2017, and it starts right before Queen Elizabeth starts her reign. And it like shows how her father died and how she's next in line and she takes the throne, and it goes to all of the historical events. Winston Churchill's in there.
Really?
It's probably one of my top 5 favorite shows.
It's hard to think that there was like a period before Queen Elizabeth, because it just seems like that's how it is so forever.
Because Queen Elizabeth's dad, her older brother, was in line to have the throne, but he wanted to marry a 2-time divorcee American named Wallis Simpson. And as the King of England, you're the head of the church. And the Church of England doesn't, recognize marriages when the divorcee, if 2 people are divorced and the other one's wanting to get married, they don't, if the other person's still alive, then you can't get married.
Okay.
Something like that.
I didn't know that.
And so he chose to abdicate his throne to be with her. Wow. And so putting the crown to his younger brother, Queen Elizabeth's father. His name was King George.
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting the crown, and then she's been around for 96 years. To the day.
Because tomorrow
is Queen Elizabeth's birthday. The
96.
Big 9-6.
Gosh, that blows my mind. And she's sitting there being the monarch of a country at 96 years old. That woman, she's built like a Nokia.
I thought about this the other day. She's talked to people in 3 different centuries. She's talked to people in the 1800s.
Oh my gosh.
1900s and the 2000s. She is literally history.
So in theory, and this is just in theory, she could have talked to Mark Twain, one Winston Churchill, obviously, and
you,
Kanye West. What a company. What a company.
Theoretically, yes. It's all possible.
Man, that's crazy. Wow. That is an old woman. I mean, respectfully. Respectfully, she is well deserving of it, but...
I love the Queen.
So you're a Queen fanatic?
I'm a Queen. I'm not a fanatic. I just admire the Queen.
No, you're a Queen follower.
I believe in the fairy tale.
The fairy tale? What's that?
That's what they call it.
Just
It's all a fairy tale over there. That's what they call it in the show. Like, gotta get people to believe in the fairy tale. Wow. That is like the monarch system over there.
Yeah, I see that, because there are times where I think to myself, like, what is their point? Because I don't see them doing much of anything other than appearing at things just as like a figurehead. Mm-hmm. And then the prime minister, actually does most of the handiwork. Yeah,
but she holds, like, kind of how the president does here with executive orders. Like, she can put anything into action. Mm-hmm. So she's got some power.
Yeah.
But she still has to go through the... I forget the name of it. It's like the Congress, but people elect them.
Oh. I know it. The Parliament?
Parliament, yeah.
Well, another thing, when she died, I mean, God forbid,
don't say it.
Long live the Queen. But when/if she dies, are they going to pass the crown down still?
Yeah. So it would go to her firstborn son.
Okay. Is he the crazy one?
No, not the Epstein guy. Not that guy. The one... how am I blanking on his name right now? No, but he's been waiting for the crown for like 70 years.
Well, I bet, with the mother that's been going for 96. Yeah. Man. So...
Prince Charles.
Prince Charles.
Prince of Wales.
The Prince of Wales.
He was married to...
Sure.
Yeah, there is, and I'm with the conspiracy.
You
theories.
are?
I'm with them. Because she was outspoken.
Oh, she was...
She spoke her mind. And
little bird chirped too loud. In
Buckingham Palace, you don't speak your mind.
Ooh.
You give no opinion.
Little birdie got silenced. That's... I don't know much about the conspiracies with that.
We need to dedicate an episode just to conspiracy theories.
Oh, that would be awesome. Give us a little dabble. What's the main thing with Diana that people say?
I mean, like I said, just that she spoke her mind, and she would divulge secrets and how stuff was run behind the scenes. But it's not supposed to get out. And
they didn't like that.
I'm sure it got into... I mean, I saw a photo today of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at like a cabin. Mm-hmm. Also, where Queen Elizabeth would also go. Like, they lined up the pictures, and it's the same place they were sitting. It was really weird.
Ooh.
I'll have to pull that up when we do that episode, but...
There's a lot to do with Epstein and Maxwell and all that, too. I haven't even, like, looked into that for myself to a full extent.
We'll have to do it.
There's so many,
There's
like...
so much.
Conspiracies.
You can get lost in it.
Oh, gosh. I need to, like, look a little more into it, so that way I have a bit of a background at least, but... Man, there's some wild stuff.
It gets dark, and it's tough, but...
It's interesting, though. People aren't really interested in happy stories all that much anymore. They want to hear about the terrible, gruesome, the really bad stuff. And that's where we come in. We'd like to dissect the really bad.
Really bad podcast, but really great entertainment.
Exactly. It's so bad that you just can't look away, like a really bad train wreck. You got to keep watching and see what happens.
I think we just keep getting better.
We do. This is something that gets better with time. We're a fine wine. We're aging like milk. I mean, depends on your taste. For all you buttermilk drinkers out there.
We're really bad.
Super bad, almost.
But you know what's opposite of bad?
Good.
our good and great listeners.
Thank you guys.
Made it all the way through episode 2.
You guys really powered through, you bunch of troopers. Good job.
The Really Bad Podcast. Episode 2. That's a wrap. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you at the next one.
Adios.